Hi everyone, nice to meet you guys. My name is John. I'm currently a senior product manager at Microsoft where I lead AI fintech product teams. Before that, I had been at the Boston Consulting Group and Bank of America and also at various venture-backed startups. I feel very fortunate to be a part of the Rocket Blocks community. Thanks for having me here.
Hi, thanks for having me as well. I'm eBay. I was formerly a founding PM at Rentspree. Rentspree is a Series B B2B2C SaaS company for home rentals. And while I was at Rentspree, I own the consumer experience, data, partnerships, and API, as well as some AI stuff related to decision making.
Awesome. So today we're going to be doing a interviewer-led product case interview. A lot of the content that you might find on YouTube today are interviewee-led, where the person being interviewed drives a lot of the direction of the interview. The interviewer-led product interview is not uncommon. It's commonly seen at Fortune 500 companies or startups that may have more of a consulting-esque type culture. The interviewer-led interview is going to be more of your traditional strategy consultant type interview where you are given a more or less defined problem and you're asked to address it. I think a interviewer-led case is valuable to understand because it will really test to see if you've done the work of a product manager. I'd say this type of interview is really great for entry to mid-level PMs. So let's get right into it. So eBay, we are going to talk about a company called Honey today. Honey is a PayPal company. The product is a browser extension and mobile app that helps users find better offers, apply coupons, and notifies them of price drops. Honey is free to users and generates revenue through affiliate commissions when purchases are made via referral links. A growth product lead at Honey wants to get your inputs on defining product and business strategy. The first question that this product lead has for you is how would you describe the value that Honey's product could provide beyond generating affiliate revenue?
Gotcha. Um, I'm going to cover both the value to the consumer and the value to PayPal, the parent company, because I think that would be a good way to see both sides of the equation. Uh, to start with, let me just make sure I understand what Honey does, and also my interpretation of what PayPal does, so we're on the same page. So Honey is basically a plugin, a web plugin that basically helps you, I guess, get better deals to say through applying coupons, right? So basically, it's gonna help you know like if there's a lower price elsewhere, and then help you apply to get lower prices. Is that accurate summary of what it does?
That's right.
Okay. And I'm viewing PayPal as a payment processor. I'm not sure if that's the correct interpretation. So basically, PayPal makes money through, say, if you use PayPal credit card, they have a payment processing fee that they receive. They probably have loans and other products. They're basically a fintech company. Is that like a good summary of what PayPal does?
Yeah, I think their primary product suites are the wallet, their banking products via debit card, checkings and savings, and then a and credit products.
Gotcha. Okay. The value to the customer for this product, I think, is quite obvious. And it is basically you get better deals without having to spend the effort to look for those deals. Basically, the customer come on to Honey when they're browsing through multiple websites like Amazon, Walmart, whatever uh, platform that Honey supports. They know where else can they get better prices for the same amount of effort. So it skips that like coupon hunting behavior that customers have to do to get lower prices. In terms of the value to PayPal, especially as a fintech banking payment processing company, one thing that came out was obviously the affiliate marketing revenue, right? Whenever someone buys stuff on Honey, I assume that PayPal is going to get a share of that cut. And in terms of other flywheel effects, because this is a product that's owned by Amazon, owned by PayPal, you can do things like, encouraging people to use PayPal's credit card. You can introduce them to other other products that are in the PayPal portfolio. For example, if you have open an account with PayPal, maybe you get some incentives to buy stuff on Honey on credit or things like that. The other value that I see for PayPal, this is less of like a more income affecting value, is data. So you have all this stuff related to finances for PayPal, but you also have stuff like consumer behavior, what products they buy, how when would they pay off kind of like their credit card, right? So you have another stream of data for this type of thing. And with this data, PayPal can do a number of things. For instance, they can predict what the customer is going to buy as opposed to just giving suggestions based on the current browsing behaviors or past purchasing behavior. You could basically use this data to kind of come up with better credit card offers. Right? If you know what types of stuff this particular customer buy, you can basically form a better benefits package to target them for credit cards in terms of like, get more points on buying groceries or whatever. Depending on that customer, you can form better credit card strategies that inform basically a different branch of PayPal, which I would say is their main product.
Yeah, those are all very interesting ideas. What do you think is the benefit to PayPal by trying to use the data from Honey to cross-sell products like a credit card?
I think they have immense benefits because Honey is not PayPal's flagship product, but the data that Honey brings drives so much value for PayPal as a payment processor because you're having all that behavior and what customer buy. You have, like probably part of their like payment details, and all of this basically helps PayPal perform better as a payment processor, as a credit card company, credit offerings. So those are all the things that, while Honey might not make a large majority of PayPal's revenue, I can see Honey being a huge driver in terms of bringing in data leads to other PayPal products.
Got it. So kind of like cross-selling to drive up volume in other products that may also be more profitable.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. Cool. So the product lead is trying to increase the speed at which we understand the drivers of affiliate revenue.
Mhm.
And the growth product lead is thinking about creating a internal testing platform.
Mhm.
How would you think about writing a product brief for an internal testing platform that would help define the personalization strategy of email offers?
Let me just recap this a little bit. So we're trying to increase the speed in which we understand our users. Is there an area where we're feel like we're not understanding them quickly enough? For example, when you think of understanding users, there's two parts to it, right? If you feel like you don't have enough information on the customer, usually you would go with user interviews, and you feel like you're trying to confirm a hypothesis. That is usually when things like quantitative analysis, A/B testing are more in play.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the specific problem that this growth product lead is seeing is twofold. The first is it takes a while to generate these email experiments manually without either trying to go through a vendor that makes the creation of A/B testing for emails a lot easier. And the growth product team, instead of outsourcing to a vendor, he thinks it might be better to develop this platform internally.
Mhm.
That's the first problem. And the second problem is making sure that the results are reliable, right? Because you don't want to spend all this resource trying to run an A/B test only to figure out that the A/B test is broken.
Gotcha. So we're ruling out using third-party provider for A/B testing in favor of developing something in-house for email testing specifically.
That's right.
Got it. What problems does he have with reliability?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, for example, when a test email is launched, we have to make sure that the affiliate link works properly. If the affiliate link is broken and can't be tracked back to a variant, then it's very hard to understand whether the emails led to a actual conversion that leads to affiliate revenue being generated.
Okay, so you're measuring the entire conversion, and basically the affiliate link from the email to the checkout could be broken.
Yes. So if you think about the experience, you have a platform that enables you to create an email template, push it out to a certain set of users. The users might then click on a call to action, and the user is taken to a shopping flow. The user checks out. If the user successfully finishes the checkout flow, that success needs to be tied back to that campaign
Mhm.
that led them to that flow in the first place.
Got it. And now we're talking about the specs of this initial platform.
Yes. And trying to think through like how would you think about writing it? Like what are the user stories? What would you want to scope in? What would you not want to scope in?
Gotcha. Well, the purpose of the testing platform is to really confirm whether or not one version is better than the other. So I think one of the things you do with A/B testing is you need to make sure that you're running controlled experiments, which means that, the users that we test version A and version B have to be basically, statistically speaking, identical. So we have to be very careful with sourcing, the timing of when we send the version A, version B. So I think one of my main specs would be about, making sure that we're doing controlled randomized testing. Um, when that part is done, then it comes down to our issue with regards to affiliate links. I might need to dig deeper into how exactly the affiliate link is broken and making sure that that's in the product spec to make sure that we can tie back, that link for version A to results of version A and version B to the result of version B. And from there, I think we might need to do something to do with integration of our workflow in terms of like how we're using this product for our internal team in terms of testing. I would say that's really the main internal user story, is basically sourcing the right group of user to run the test, then basically ensuring that it's a seamless flow for those users, and then collecting the results and basically doing analysis on our end.
Got it. What would you formulate the problem statement and key metric that you want to measure to be?
The key metric of the platform.
Yeah, so if, for example, you launch and you have to tell the exec team that you launched and it was successful, and you get asked, how did you know it was successful?
Okay.
How would you answer that question?
Going back to the problem statement, we have an issue where we have broken links, and that means that we don't have accurate results on how we're performing in terms of A/B testing. So I think one of the key metrics of this product is really that reduction in unattributed affiliate links. This is a bit of a plane problem where you have planes that come back and they have bullet holes, and those are the planes that survive, but the planes that don't make it back are what you're actually counting about. So basically, we're looking for that reduction in number of links that don't have affiliate links connected to it. And if we can reduce that, then the platform is successful. And if we, even if we have lots of responses, we have other data, as long as we can't connect them back to the campaign, then the platform would not be successful.
Yeah, that makes sense. There was also another part of this problem, right? Which was we want to increase the speed of our understanding. So trying to increase the speed of running these experiments, how would you think about that problem?
For the speed problem, you mentioned that it's about, was it about sourcing the people to use this link, or we're talking about like actually creating those campaigns in the platform?
It's creating the campaigns.
It would be about, well, we have to identify what's taking our team a long time in doing those campaigns. Is it just like the creation process? Is it, like how are they selecting users? And from there, like we would have to build in, streamlined workflow there. So we can also do timing there, where like, okay, is this new process saving, say, our marketer time as they execute?
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you were to identify all the different user stories that should go into this feature, what would they be?
Okay, let me just write out the user stories.
Sure.
Okay, I'll break it down into 4 user stories, and of course we could always break it down further. But I would say that the user stories are mostly internal, and then some are external facing. So I would say that the first thing that you do is basically selecting the users. So understanding, okay, which user group are you trying to test? Is there a characteristic that you're trying to test for this campaign? Like, are you testing user on specific products. So being able to understand and select those users that you want to test is very important. Two would be campaign creation. So just the mechanics of launching the campaign, designing the email templates, any type of customization parameters that you want to do. Third would be user interaction. So actually like getting out to the user and having them interact with it. And then fourth is interpreting those results.
Got it. If you had to descope one of those user stories because of resource constraints, which one would you descope?
So back to the goal, we want to increase speed of understanding, and you want to shorten. The speed is basically shortening the time it takes to create the campaign, and the other one is to kind of prove whether or not the test is successful. This might be specific to like the campaign you're using, but I think we don't need to home in on the user as much, based on my understanding of the problem we're having. So maybe I would deprioritize customer selection.
Hmm.
Right? I'm assuming here that of the customers in Honey, most of them behave somewhat similarly, and we're not trying to home in on like specific product niches that have very different user group from the rest.
That's an interesting thought. Okay, great. So we are thinking of launching a A/B test for an email, and a member of the product design team has mocked up some email templates on how Honey could increase affiliate purchases. And the request here is to give live feedback to the designer. I'm going to share my screen. These are the designs that the designer is showing you. What type of feedback would you give the designer?
So this is two versions of an email that we're sending out to the customer. And what exactly we're trying to test with these emails again? Is it the overall conversion rate?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's an overall North Star of, hey, we want to improve affiliate revenue, which is the conversion rate into the actual purchase of the product. However, there are sub-metrics, secondary metrics that we also care about.
Mhm.
What do you think those secondary metrics might be?
Okay. In terms of secondary metrics, for me, it would just be basically, this is basically a funnel, right? Like the final end goal is you want the user to convert to purchasing the product, but you also want to kind of troubleshoot at which part of the funnel we have a problem with. So you have things like click-through rates, you have things like, you know, the conversion between the email into the actual purchase, how much we lose there. We can have engagement metrics as well, like if they interact at all with the email,
Yeah.
whether or not they follow through to browse on the website. So those are some kind of metrics that I would think about with regards to this problem.
Yep,
Um,
that's right.
let's just take a look at this. Are those images products that the customer is buying, or is it just an example of what they're doing?
Yeah, this would be an example of a product a customer is buying.
Okay. So the customers who seeing this email are interested in buying those shares.
We don't, maybe, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But I think that's an important point to bring up, right? Like, is there a way to customize the offering in a way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we didn't customize those images for the customer, I feel like that's probably distracting towards the goal. So it may not be the right format to show the customer. That said, though, I think uh, the new email does a few good things. One is it's visually more appealing, more engaging, and basically it gets a bit of legitimacy to Honey, right? The old email basically it looks like a Walmart email, but it doesn't show that hey, this is a Honey email, and the customer might be confused. So I think the two things that are good in terms of the new email is one, legitimacy of Honey, two, potentially is kind of personalization, depending on whether or not we can execute based on the mock I see here. And three is basically engagement in terms of visuals. In terms of constructive feedback, I'd say that there is an incongruence between what this email does and what we're actually trying to find out. So for example, your favorite items are on sale. The call to action is really to get them to buy the product, but here the button says, plus get 8% back. So I feel like the call to action doesn't reflect what we're trying to get them to do. The 8% back is a benefit. And there could be a bit more tightening in terms of, say, the message on the site, right? You have old prices, new price, was and now is not necessary. In terms of what we do here, we want to minimize basically any noise that we have so the customer can go straight to understanding the value and then obtain those values. So
Great.
those would be my main feedback.
Awesome. Let's say we ran this experiment and this was the results that we got.
Okay.
On what trends are you seeing in this data? And based on those, what would you advise as the product manager as the next steps?
So when we run an experiment, it's very important that we're basically holding everything constant and so we're just testing, the difference between A and B. On this results page, I see that the week 2 results for the old email looks very different from the rest. Like funnel wise, it seems like the entire funnel dropped by a lot. So all the numbers from like open rate down to conversion rate just kind of decreased by, some of them decreased by half. Is there any explanation for that?
Yeah, that's a very good catch. The reason is because we didn't keep the amount of marketing spend controlled. And so the results of week 2 are skewed because the spend was a lot lower than the other experiments.
So for the spend of the week 2 for the old email is lower than the first week and also with the new email?
Okay.
Okay. I would say that data is probably not useful then.
Sure.
We do have quite a lot of data points, so we could still work with this data even though we don't have week 2 results that are useful. Okay, the open rate for week 1 is quite similar. One thing I might want to check is just running through statistical significance tests just to make sure that the results are
Let's just say it's
indeed better. Okay. I think the biggest difference is the click-through rate. So there's a much higher click-through rate for the new email than the old email. but the open rate and the conversion rate is very similar. Uh, if the goal is to increase conversion rates, then I would say that the experiment failed. Like the new email, even though it's more engaging, you have more click through, more people opening and kind of going to the website, that doesn't result in a conversion. Um, so that would be an issue. If we're just talking about engagement, though, it is more engaging. So something about the design does make the user want to click. Um, with that lens, I felt like the problem might be elsewhere. Like the email is doing its job, but it's not resulting in conversion rates. So we might need to go back to the drawing board and see like, okay, why are we not getting a conversion that we want? And that might not be solved by having better emails.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Well, thank you for your time, eBay. Really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Thank you, John.
Hey everyone, it's Kenton Koveski here, the founder of Rocketblocks. Thank you so much for watching this mock interview video. I hope you found it informative and helpful as you are getting ready to prepare for your own interviews and hopefully landing that job offer you are excited about. We have a ton of great content on the Rocketblocks channel coming out on a weekly basis, mock interviews, mini lessons, and chats with our Rocketblocks experts. So if you haven't subscribed yet already, please do so. There is a big red button below. And if you hit that, you'll get all of our content as soon as it comes out. Thanks for watching and have a great day.